Welcome back to Pride and Accomplishment. I'm Chris.
And I'm Jason. This is episode 63. So are you getting Call of Duty Vanguard or not?
Well, as of recording on Sunday, November 7th, no, not right now. But all of that is very dependent on the ability of one particular friend to obtain a PS5.
Oh, really? Wow. But it's just fine.
Your exasperation is because you could play it on PC, you can cross-play it, and you don't have to have a PS5 in order to play Call of Duty.
Yes. All of those things, yes. I think people are putting way too much emphasis on controller versus keyboard and not wanting to crossplay and all of that. It's skill-based matchmaking. If you're getting absolutely pounded, you'll get absolutely pounded by controller people. Like it's I don't know how to explain this without getting tense and because if you're winning, you're going to be put up against harder people. If you're losing, you're going to be put up against easier people. It doesn't matter whether it's keyboard or mouse or controller. It doesn't matter whether it's crossplay or not. There are keyboard and mouse people that are worse than controller people, even with the high fidelity of the mouse, even with, the I don't know, access to more buttons, I guess. There are controller people that are better than most keyboard and mouse players. But in the end, yes, keyboard and mouse has a higher skill cap just because of the fidelity of the mouse. It doesn't matter. At the level of player that we're talking, it doesn't matter.
I think you're right, but it's not my decision. There's a very vocal, not even minority, I think it may be almost the majority, that is very concerned about this. And I think we could just play it on PC and call it a day. I might even play it on PS5 if we were doing that, because my PS5 is a better graphics card than my PC if I was going to play on controller. But there's this giant FOMO that happens where you're like, well, if everybody else is playing on keyboard, then I should play on keyboard and mouse. It's tough, though. I mean, it really is. What everyone wants to do, what the proposal is that everyone just plays on PS5 and turns off crossplay so that they are just playing against other PS5 people, which is an option. You can do that. But then you're also limiting your player pool significantly.
Yeah. So
I would imagine that your matchmaking would take longer and all of that kind of stuff.
If this was a problem, do you think Call of Duty would do it? Do you really think that if it was that big of a problem where the spectrum of players and their skill-based matchmaking didn't allow, I don't know, if it contributed towards you not wanting to open Call of Duty every waking second of every day, do you think the company would choose to do this? They're not going to do something that leads to bad gameplay if they're smart about it, which I think Call of Duty is much better than, say, Blizzard. I guess I have a little bit more faith in why Call of Duty is as big as it is, because people as much as I don't like Call of Duty in general, it's successful for a reason. And they're not going to do something that makes people not want to play it and not want to buy the next one. And they wouldn't have enabled crossplay if it was going to ruin the game.
These are all very well-made points.
I know I'm preaching to the choir right now, but it just drives me up a wall that we've made huge strides in crossplay. It's so important to other kinds of games. It's so important for the gaming industry as a whole to recognize the fact that openness is more important than exclusiveness. And then when people come along and they say, I don't want to crossplay because I'm afraid of those big bad meanies with mouse and keyboard, it just really rubs me the wrong way. I guess I don't fault them. There's this myth that you're going to get absolutely stomped. And I would say if you put a similar skill-based person, right, people that know the maps exactly the same, that generally are about the same in skill level from a, you know, like meta perspective, how the guns do, you know, what, you know, just all of that. Yeah, a keyboard and mouse person is going to win, but that's not how skill-based matchmaking works. It all gets factored together. We got way off topic there, but we started this all with buying it, like, regardless of all of the conversation on whether crossplay matters or not. The reason we started talking about this is because whether you get Vanguard, whether Chris gets Vanguard is dependent on whether someone else gets a PlayStation 5.
Correct. And we had quite the experience trying to make that happen.
This was a fun little event. I saw it while I was working. It was in the middle of the day, and everyone was like, we're all going to, like, Walmart's releasing more PS5s. We're all going to go get one for one guy because one guy needs a PS5.
Yeah, so I actually set an alarm on my phone for this because Walmart was dropping PS5s, you know, and they do this from time to time. They like somehow leak it or announce it or something. And actually, this was officially announced because it was like on the Walmart website. It said like, we will have more of these at, you know, whatever the date was at 3 p.m. And it's like, oh, cool. Hey, look at that. They actually put out, you know, some clear information about when these things are gonna happen. So we had, I think, 7 people or something like that that were all ready to go to try to buy one PS5 from Walmart's website. So throughout the day, because we all knew this was going to happen, I think I posted it like first thing in the morning, like 7 a.m. and said, hey, this is happening today. Or maybe it was like the night before. And everybody starts chiming in as like, oh, I'll help. And so throughout the day, there was just kind of these back and forth that was like, hey, what's your address? I want to put it in as my default on Walmart. Hey, what's your phone number? I want to set that too. Make sure it's right. It was like pretty much everything except for a credit card number was exchanged like in Discord that day in order to make sure that everybody was ready.
I'm pretty sure I made the joke that I was sending a couple glitter bombs and, you know, like all the information was there. I could have done everything I wanted. But we were all very nice and adult about it, I'm sure.
Probably until the glitter shows up.
So this was all the way up until like 2:50.
Yes, and everybody was all set up, and everybody was like, okay, I'm prepped, I'm ready, I'm logged in, I've got the address set, I've got all this stuff set, go. And then the clock rolls over to 3 o'clock, or was there something else that happened that I'm forgetting?
I don't think so. I think it went to 3 o'clock, and we were going to try to get the disc version is what kind of was the primary goal. We had the address, we were ready to go, and we were all on Walmart's page, and it said, you know, not available until 3 p.m. And I just kept hitting refresh until the clock flipped over.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it's just like, hey, you're in the queue. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. I'm glad that I am, but I didn't do anything to join the queue. And everybody started sharing either screenshots or just numbers because it told you how many minutes. It didn't tell you what position in line you were, but it told you how many minutes there were until your queue would be done. So people are posting, they're like, oh, I got 39 minutes. Oh, I got 23 minutes. Oh, I got 16 minutes. No, wait, nobody got that low. I got like 20 minutes. I was the lowest at, I think, 22 minutes or something like that.
I decided to take an alternative route because no one knew I was kind of watching this whole conversation happen. And I know that I kind of wanted a PS5, and I'll be honest, I was a little selfish here. But I decided to go after the digital version, which is a different, you know, it's totally different page, different everything. It seems to be less popular. So I went after the digital version and got 6 minutes.
Yeah, everybody posts all their times, and then Jason goes, I got 6 minutes. Everybody goes, what? He's like, but I went for the digital version. Oh. So
the whole thing was to get this guy a PS5. And I, I said, hey, I went for the digital version because everyone else was going for and I would have probably been at 35 minutes for the disc one. Like, I don't think there was a chance. Like, everyone else in the whole world seems to have been going for the disc version. So I tried my luck at the digital one, and I got 6 minutes, and I was like, I'm I'm maybe going to get this. So I offered it up and I said, hey, if I get the digital one, we're all doing this for you. Do you want the digital one instead of the disc if I get it? And, I understandably, he said no. I think he's got PS4 games. He's got discs. He wants to play Blu-rays. And so he said no. And I, whatever. But 6 minutes go by. It was actually my timer was actually pretty accurate. And I think yours was for the first, I don't know what, 20 minutes. It was pretty accurate. 16 minutes
for the first 12 minutes until it got down to 10. Yes.
But mine got to 1 minute and then the page auto refreshed and I was able to add to cart and I actually got it. I got a PS5. So yeah. And I bought it and I kept it and I'm going to keep it. I don't have any games for it. I don't know what I'm going to play on it. It'll be here, I don't know, sometime before the end of the year, I guess. I don't know. It's not quick. But yeah.
That's really exciting. I am very happy for you.
I checked out. Yeah, I know. It was fine. But whatever. I check out. I post the screenshot that I checked out and everyone was like, oh, yeah. But then poor Chris is stuck at 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh. I was stuck at 10 minutes for probably 25 actual minutes. Like the page just says 10 minutes. And of course, it's one of these things where it's an online storefront and you don't know that if you refresh, is the whole thing going to just fall over like a house of cards? And it's going to be like, thank you for joining. Your queue time is 7,000 hours. I didn't want to refresh anything. I didn't want to touch anything. I was like, oh no, what's happening? This is going to be, terrible. And it just sits on 10 minutes and just sits and sits and sits and sits. And everybody else's timers keep going. Everybody else, that was in the 40-minute range or whatever, just it ticks down successfully until they get to about 10 minutes. And I think some others got a little bit stuck as well. And then all of a sudden my queue starts moving again. And so then I was like, oh, okay, cool. Maybe they released some more. And so I'm back in the queue and this is great. Because I had started to kind of give up hope a little bit, but
yeah, we didn't know. We should we give up? Is it over? Because it's been 30, 35 minutes at this point,
right? Yeah,
we're there's no way there's still stock, but Chris's queue isn't moving. He's got the lowest number. We didn't know whether to give up.
And then finally, my queue starts moving and it gets down, 7, 6, 5, 4. Sits on 3 minutes for probably 8 minutes, which was also nerve-wracking and annoying. And then finally it refreshes itself into the store page. And I'm like, oh my gosh, here it is. And it actually had an add to cart button on it. And it's got the PS5, the disc version and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there it is. And I click add to cart. And then it just says something went wrong. And I'm like, what? Ugh. No. And it was just on the page. It wasn't like an error in the browser. It was an actual, the Walmart page was saying we tried to add this to cart and it didn't work. And at that point, I'm like, okay, well, then I guess I'll try to refresh and see if I can do it. And it just kept doing the same thing over and over and over again. The really bittersweet part was that there's in the top right corner, like there are in many web pages, there's a cart, icon and a little cart logo. And when you would click add to cart, it would show one item and $4.99.99 is your subtotal for a split second. And then it would just error out and then take it away from the little cart.
Oh no.
And I was like, but you're so close. You know what you're trying to do here. Just do it. And it never did. And so then, of course I'm refreshing and trying, and then it's oh, it's not available here, but check nearby stores. And that seemed to have been the end of it because there was no more add to cart button. It was just check nearby availability. But then I found that if you put in a zip code to the check nearby availability, it would tell you there was none available in any of the areas nearby, but then it would re-enable the add to cart button. And I was like, oh, well, then I'll just keep trying. Maybe I'll be the one that was persistent and figured this out and got a chance to get it in the cart. And then no luck there. And of course, as this is happening in Discord, messages are streaming by of people that also got down to the end of the queue and also are going through the same experience of trying to click add to cart and failing. They weren't failing. The site was failing.
My favorite element of this story is Chris got to the end. He started experiencing these problems and sent a message, hey, I'm getting failure and everyone's like, oh yeah, I'm getting failure to add to cart too. And Chris goes, well, I've got one more shot. I've got my phone is also in the queue. It's got 7 minutes left. And I go, oh my God, typical Chris has 2 devices in the queue.
You're lucky it was only 2.
Yeah, you could have pulled the iPad out, gotten on your Apple Watch, pulled up the browser. I don't think you can do that, but I would not be surprised if you had tried.
I think I could have probably like without much trouble gotten 5 different devices all running queues if I had wanted to. But I only had the 2, and I got it on my phone, and then my phone counts down and it gets to the thing, and I have the add to cart button again, same deal as the computer. And I was like, well, maybe going through mobile is different pathways, maybe it'll work, different APIs, it'll hit differently, and it'll let me do it. And of course, it did not. I did get to the point where I got kind of their little like, "Are you a human?" Prompt, which was an interesting like way to do this. I don't think I've ever experienced this particular one, but they would basically just show a button on the screen and say, "Hold the button." And like you just held the button, and then the button would like fill up like a progress bar, and then once it got full, you had to like let go, and that was it.
Yeah. I had that. I forgot all about that. I definitely had to do that.
And I had never seen, like, it wasn't, which one of these are traffic lights, which one of these are trucks or whatever. It was just this little button. And that was fine, except for on mobile. Like on my phone, it didn't quite work right. Something about the holding of the button, and then the like mobile Safari would try to like scroll the page. And so it almost didn't work on the phone. But either way, it didn't matter because I wasn't able to buy it anyway.
Okay, so this was all in an effort to try to play Vanguard, because that's the game everyone wants to play right now on PS5. I'll tell you, I looked it up. Mine won't arrive until November 24th. So even if we could have purchased one, it's not going to arrive until the end of November. And by then, Vanguard is, I don't know, it's not going to be as hype anymore, but it may still be part of the rotation. We'll keep trying. I'm sure if this happens again, we'll all get back on and try again.
Yes, it was actually strangely like exciting.
Yeah,
like,
I had a lot of fun.
It's so silly because it's something that's just so like, I don't know, it shouldn't be this much of an event, and it shouldn't be like, it's just buying a thing, right? I mean, it's getting the privilege to spend money. And it was just very exciting to be like, oh my gosh, gotta go fast, gotta, refresh. It's kind of like new iPhone day, right? Where you're trying to get your pre-order in so that you get it on launch day and all that. Except that this is, a year after the thing came out, and you still can't buy it. And it happens every other week, probably. Yeah, next time will probably be Best Buy. It seems like Best Buy, Walmart, and Target kind of all trade off.
I'm also in the queue for PlayStation, like the actual PlayStation proper queue.
Yeah, I think we talked about this an episode or two ago, where they actually sent out an email that was like, hey, you can join a proper queue from Sony to buy, have the opportunity to maybe buy a PS5, is basically how they did it. But they said, don't call us, we'll call you. We'll send you an email if we pick you. And then you will have a designated date time window where you will be guaranteed to have a chance to buy a PS5, I think it was, or something like that. So we're all entered in that, I think.
So eventually someone, I think, may get that. We'll all have PS5 someday. Although, in PlayStation news, I do want to bring up, kind of at the tail end here, PlayStation just registered their PlayStation PC brand or logo or trademark or whatever.
Oh.
Up until this point, all of their games had been released on PlayStation Mobile, which, fine, okay, different division, but not really showing commitment to the PC kind of releases. It's just a little bit of, we've always talked about the fact that right now in the gaming world, you don't really need an Xbox anymore, because Windows is releasing, or Microsoft is releasing everything for Windows and Xbox. And they're kind of considering Xbox a brand now rather than a console, or as well as a console. So you don't need to buy an Xbox anymore. You get Forza day one on PC, which used to be an Xbox console exclusive. So right now in the gaming world, you need a PC, a PlayStation, and a Switch. And you kind of have all of your bases covered, or at least all of the major bases covered. And I'm wondering, the only reason I'm getting a PlayStation 5 is for the PlayStation exclusives, God of War, Horizon, Returnal, all of these kind of things that are exclusively for the PlayStation 5 or exclusively for the PlayStation, get the latest and greatest thing. I wonder how much longer that's going to be the case. I really do. I mean, I don't think it's around the corner, but I also don't think it's as long as until the PlayStation 6. I think there may be a time before the PlayStation 6 where you're saying, hey, I don't really need a PlayStation anymore either, because those exclusives are gone.
I will say on that subject, I did see an interview with one of like the head of Sony something or other, head of PlayStation something. And they said that they have had a lot of success with the PC. They think it's a really good platform, but that they intend to create kind of artificial scarcity of release windows, or whatever you want to say. Like they're going to protect the PlayStation release pretty aggressively. So they're going to have like a year of exclusivity on the console before it comes to PC is kind of what they've been doing, or maybe 18 months to 2 years in the case of something like Horizon. So they're not, like, while they may bring their games to PC, they're not prioritizing a day one simultaneous PlayStation PC release in any way.
Yeah, and I wonder how that'll affect me, because I did not play Horizon at day one. I did not play God of War day one. But I did want to play them, right? And God of War now, I mean, it's way later, but God of War 4 is coming to PC now. I don't know. I don't remember the exact date, but am I going to be okay to wait? I really don't know. And I don't think I'll have to make that decision for, like I said, a while, because it's going to be the situation we're in right now for a while.
Well, now you get to wait till the PS6 because you're going to have a PS5.
Right, exactly. But I think the formula is changing, and I don't know where it's going to end up for me personally.
I still maintain that there are games that are like console couch games, and there are games that are like PC games, and the the single player, very narrative movie like games, I would rather play on my biggest and best screen and not sit in my computer chair to play.
I'm honestly still surprised that you don't have a more robust setup such that you can play a game on your screen downstairs from your PC, right? Like Steam Link, right? Like I know it only works for Steam right now, but that, if you're wired, that was a great experience.
Yeah, I mean, I have a Steam Link. It's connected to the big TV. Like, I could do it. I don't know. That's a good point. I don't play, Rocket League. I play on my desk, on my computer. But I could play it on the TV. I've played it on the console on the TV, and it does fine. I'm really also excited for Discord PlayStation integration, which is maybe coming in early 2022. So if that happens, then you'll be able to have good voice chat with the people you want to talk to, even if they're on PC or doing a different game or whatever, because the PlayStation voice chat party system is not great.
Better than Switch, though, but it does blur the lines a little bit. Again, which it just changes that formula more. Do you have a PlayStation 5, or do you want a PlayStation 5? Are you in a queue to get a PlayStation 5? Will you buy one for our friend? Let us know by visiting us or chatting with us in our Discord, which you can get to at discord.pnapodcast.com.
If you'd like to get in touch with us another way or read our show notes, you can visit our website at pnapodcast.com. That's P, the letter N, the letter A, podcast.com.
If you're enjoying the show, we would just ask that you would share it with some others that may enjoy it as well.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll talk to you next time.